Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Crossy, and welcome to my Twitch channel, Crossy Cast. And I don't know about anyone else that's jumping back in for Season 36 of ESEA, but after a few weeks off, I think I've forgotten how to cast. So this is going to be interesting to see how it pans out. But, hey, going to be rusty, along with some of the players maybe as lineups have started to come together and the like. A little change of plans, couple of changes of plans really. We've got a new game since fixtures still starting to get underway and get in the mix. So I jumped on the first game that I could find really. Aequitas main. The German team squaring off against Camlica Espor here on Inferno. This is going to be in the Europe Intermediate League. So it should be an interesting one to see how it pans out. I think Camlica lost their first game, Aequitas in their first game. And I feel like I've watched Aequitas at some point over the last few months, maybe against one of the teams that I normally commentate for on the regular. So I'm interested to see how those guys pan out, and maybe I'll start to recognise a few of the players and some hero plays as we get a push up towards Banana as Sen manages to find the first, drops away towards the bomb site. Camlica maybe a little slow here in their build-up as they look to make their way over towards the B side with the push. Zalco trying to tap through, manages to find one, actually a little bit lucky. Third man that he was going for, but two managed to make their way into ruins. Zek leading the charge, and they've got the second man towards Orange's. Palmer manages to get two. Unbelievable stuff from Palmer over towards back Orange's, swinging out, grabbing a tasty little headshot with players rushing in. And great work from Aequitas, able to absorb the pressure, maybe helped out a little bit by that opening frag that they were able to put on the board. Slowed Camlica up a little bit as they tried to get their utility in. You know, generally at times like that, you need to be together as a unit and hit it en masse. If you get split up in any capacity, then it's a little bit of a struggle. Also, after a couple of week break, I'm flying solo tonight, and will be tomorrow as well. Going to be working with hopefully a few people into this next ESEA season, but in particular going to be working with Nat Bambi, who's got some exams to finish off. Will be back with us later on this week, but in the meantime, I'm armed up with coffee as Soulfly, doing some good work, finding two from the push over towards Archside into the bomb site. Let's go allow him to grab a couple of the upgraded SMGs and a scout as well retrieved. Zentox and Sen going to be trying to do what they can. Tapping away into the pit is Zentox with the MP9 in hand. Nice work there. Anything they can get, any guns they can drop out of hand, that's going to be useful. They can get that M4 down, that would be a bonus for them. Sen and Zentox managing to get a frag apiece as well. And Sen's got another over towards Zek, last player in the pit. They're going to try and stick the defuse. I think Zentox does have it. In the end, Edgy with a tidy collat through the smoke. Missed it completely, flicked over to watch the defuse, and it turned out that was not the thing whatsoever. Really good heads-up play from Edgy over in the pit, actually, to pull that one off. Getting the mistakes out of the way early. Just smashed the coffee. Probably one of the scariest coffees of my life after my coffee machine literally exploded in my hand earlier on a couple of days ago and yeeted my coffee mug about halfway across the kitchen. My favourite coffee mug, which is sadly no more. So yeah, that was certainly an interesting and toe-curling experience. But we got there. We do have coffee, and it will be kicking in around about the second half, I think. So we can expect an improved performance from me in terms of my production and my commentating skills, we would hope, around about the second half. Cool and nice work for Camlica, and they are, for the second round on the spin, able to open their account first. Looking over towards the banana area. One player from there should be able to delay and hold up enough, and if there was some utility in hand, launch that in the direction, but pretty much your plan is to sit in as much as you can and just not expose yourself in those areas. We see now Camlica moving their way back towards Banana, over towards the B site. Now there is a player there to back up. He gets flushed away straight away from the scout as they try and push through. Got to make sure they don't get split up. Zen, 2, chance for the third, gets the third. Zentox with the scout able to pick up a frag as well, and Bell against 3 players. They are charging in, trying to stop him from even getting the bomb plant down. Zalco swinging on the wide angle, maybe could have had an opportunity, only had a head to aim for, didn't really know where he was looking at that point. And the defuse is going to come in. Aequitas main then get things back in their favour. 2-1 on CT side. Retrieve a couple of the M4s that they lost as well. So it's going to bounce around to the lower finance players and allow them to push on from there. Good to see Inferno. First time out of the gate. A fairly familiar map for anyone that's been around Counter-Strike as long as I have. Back in the days of Source, this was in the map pool. And still plays CT-sided. Granted, since the update, which was a long time ago now, when a lot of the areas were widened out and far less of a choke point, it does even up a little bit more towards the T side as J Pappy in the apartments manages to find one. A little bit of control aggression on CT side apartments and doesn't go amiss. Just keep them on their toes. Don't allow a team to just hang around. Comes Zalco, 2 in from outside. Tidy work there. You would normally have the crossfire. Didn't need it on that occasion. So we see the first pause coming in. Well, that's it. I'm going to try not to turn this into an ASMR stream, but chicken has arrived. Really good chicken as well, for the record. And we trying to get through that without missing out on some of the action. Those caster struggles. I say first week back in action for season 36 and beyond, so going to be exciting times. Going to be behind the mic every day this week aside from Friday. So if you're interested in watching some more Counter-Strike, then feel free to hit me up on the socials and also throw a follow onto this Twitch channel, and there will be plenty more action coming up. As I say, plans change, fixtures get rearranged, so I will just grab another game and jump onto that if needs be. So while there is a schedule available on my Twitter that I posted yesterday, take that with a pinch of salt because we've already seen the first game get shifted, and the game I've got set up for Thursday, I think it is, that's probably going to change as well, and that's a UK team that I know quite well, and I'll be looking to try and jump on the rearranged fixture for that, but you know, that could be in a couple of weeks' time, say. So we'll see how it goes. But there will be plenty of Counter-Strike on this channel. And as Nat's back in action, we're going to try and work some kind of split as to which channels things are going to be on, maybe between NA stuff and European stuff or whatever. We're going to pan something out. But if you've got us both followed on Twitter, that's going to be the best way to go. As J Pappy inside the pit, trying to do some work, gets taken out pretty quickly by the player in from Valk, actually, but it's a little bit too much of a one-at-a-time affair from Camlica Espor. They're going the right way, they're getting a few frags in, but they're not getting themselves into the site as well as they would have liked before they're getting these engagements and getting caught in crossfire. I'm going to say they're not getting enough penetration, which is definitely going to get a few lulls in the chat, but it kind of makes the point as well, doesn't it? Aequitas main then in the driving seat. Nice work from Coolin. Able to find Zalco. It's a little interesting the way they're playing this. Sen coming in on the fast rotate, trying to catch someone unawares. Could be in trouble now with 4 players looking to swing that corner. One flash and it could be game over for Sen. And it is. A little bit of a split setup really coming in from Aequitas main, which is a little bit worrying. Jay Pappy doing some good work. He's under heavy pressure though and really difficult to work from that situation. But it seems a little odd the way that they're working that. They didn't have the crossfire set up at mid, so you got one player hanging out towards Artside, pretty much exposed out in the open, and it's a crisp 1D that took him down, but yeah, that's not a high percentage play. You would want someone to be coming in from quad to back you up and to be refragging in that situation. Normally, instead, they've got 2 players passive in towards the bomb site, one in from Arch on the fast rotate, and it just left Zalco out on an island, really. Considering how well they've been setting up the crossfires in these bomb sites as well, drawing Camlica in, making them work for it. I am surprised that they've changed it up in the way that they have. And I would like to see on Inferno, doesn't matter if you play aggressive, doesn't matter if you play passive on either of these bomb sites, really, as long as you are together and doing it as a unit. It's a little bit low percentage, I guess, to play aggressive B setup on CT, but seen it work to real perfection when it's done well, and it can just cause so many problems, put pressure on a team, and apply the squeeze in certain areas of this map. Aequitas going to be looking to apply the reset here if they can. Trying to show a bit of early pressure out towards Banana. This could be trouble. Coolin looking to add an opening gambit again and does exactly that. Gets lit up along with Bell, who's down to 11 points of health, and Coolin down to 7. But crucially, they've taken out a player on CT's side, and that causes real problems. You have to adjust, you have to send rotators, or you have to leave an angle uncovered. In this occasion, the angle they're leaving open is over towards the A bomb site. Sticking 2 towards Banana. I think they will be looking to get the rotate. Zentox moving to try and get information. Down he goes, and that's going to open up a push now in towards the B site. 45 seconds left to go. In they go. Player coming in from CT. Plenty of flashes, and one thing for Camlica is to make sure they don't get slowed up. That utility could have split them up a little bit as the bomb comes in, and they are a little bit disjointed again as they try and make their way in towards the bomb site. Aequitas in a tough spot over towards, well, 2 players in for Ruins. Anyway, I'm guessing the last guy super slow on the rotate, actually, Palmer, and I guess the plan was always just to save and keep hold of this weapon if they can. And I think that's now going to be their game plan, is to try and save these ready for the next round. It'll be the 7th round of this first half. For those of you just joining, thank you very much for joining me on this channel, Crossy Cast, the first Counter-Strike of 2021. And while hopefully this is the year that we can all start taking holidays again, remember those, and maybe even start going to events again. Remember those, LANs, where you take your PC and you sit next to other people and you play games together? Yeah, those are fun times. Maybe 2021 is going to be the year where we can start to have a few things like that again. Major announced for October. So, again, we're hoping that we're not going to be buried in lockdowns in Europe and beyond all the way in October, and we can really start to enjoy another CSGO major But exciting times and good for the future of the game, really, to see that being announced and in the calendar, which is going to be good. Little support for Aequitas in the stream, sitting 4-3 so far on arguably the easier CT side here on Inferno. Going pretty well, causing problems for Camlica, but they are showing some good penetration as well and been able to grab a couple of entry frags in particular and work on from there. Aequitas maybe need to look at the work they've been doing in terms of setting up crossfires and be a little more passive during the early stages. But both teams showing some good form. Some good individual brilliance as well. Bell's done some good work. Coolan's been the entry fragger on the Camlica side. I think leading the charge, Sen for Aequitas had a couple of pretty crucial rounds where he's been able to make some tasty frags as well. Definitely a one to watch as the freeze time once again cancelled, back in and underway. This is ESEA Season 36 EU Intermediate that we're watching here. Second game, I believe, for Camlica Espor. I think they are one loss down already. Aequitas playing their first game. Want to start as strongly as they can. So we seem to get a sudden spike of FPS lag, so apologies if you guys are getting that as well. I'm sure it will sort itself out in no time. Zentox trying to show himself up towards Banana, catches a bit of utility, trying to spam down, just missing as Coolan tries to skip around. He's not the guy you want to be challenging, really, the way that he's been picking up those opening frags in these rounds. Zentox going up on the boost. First time that they've used this, I think. And that is one of the spots where you can get away with it once, usually. Once you get up there once, the team knows to check for it and will be looking up there. Usually the second or third guy through, his job will be to swing to the right and up and spray towards foul pots. Usually you've got the protection to be able to do that because of the smoke which we can see below Zentox here at the moment. So and it gives you just a little bit of protection to not get your face ripped off by an AWP over towards CT spawn. For example, 30 seconds left to go. And actually it's going to be a play over towards AJ Pappy, maybe getting the attention, about to get knifed maybe. Edgy whips out the AK, and that's going to be the information called in. And Camlica need to be fast on this. They need to get themselves in, and Zalco, if he could cause problems, which he does exactly, completely white over towards the bomb site, manages to find an AWP frag anyway before he's taken down, and in the nick of time, that bomb plant does come in. Camlica not in the best of positions, but they try and work Bell. Nice shot over towards mid, misses the second one. Arguably misses the tougher of the shots as Palmer with the AUG down goes Palmer. That's nice work. Taking a leaf out of Camlica's book here, really, as they try and go one at a time to retake this bomb site. Didn't really work out, had to scramble to try and get over there. And Camlica have played this pretty well. That's going to make it 4-all as they look for the exit frag, do get one, and that brings it to even 4-4. So I'm going to look over towards the B setup as Aequitas have a third player over here now. They seem quite determined to make things happen towards the car area and towards the top. This is Zentox jumping and trying to show himself. obviously straight away with that flash, you know, you put yourself really in the firing line if you try and hang in close. Maybe he has the opportunity to get a second frag there as well, and very unfortunate that he wasn't able to bring that home on Zek, who got taken down to 13 points of health. His teammate didn't really get the memo actually sent. Tried to peek and tried to show, but it's just a little too late. As Edgy able to find J Pappy towards the A bomb site. Plant's going to come in. And Sen will probably try and just grab a gun, an AK, in fact. Retreat away with that as we take our first look really at the finances. Aequitas struggling just a little bit in that regard, while Camlica will be fine to keep on buying and dropping for probably the next 2, maybe even 3 rounds, which is going to be good for them as they're starting to put themselves in the driving seat a little bit as well in terms of the position. Going to be taking the lead here on arguably the tougher T side. I say arguably because there's not many maps in Counter-Strike that can't play both ways. There are standard ways that things go on certain maps for various reasons that we can talk about for a long old time if we need to. Perfect when there are long technical pauses. It's good to fall back on things like that and just really dig into how these maps work and how they can swing both ways. Inferno, I think, is one of the more balanced, and you can certainly really dig your heels in and put 11 or 12 rounds on the board on CT side. But if you are really on point, if you've got an AWP v AWP battle in mid for whatever reason, and you get a stubborn CT that wants to keep challenging, or a team that is hyper aggressive on their CT setup, trying to push out of apartments and up towards Banana on the regular, then you can have a bit of a field day. Definitely can play both ways if you need it to. So Camlica getting their utility, pouring out into the pit area from balcony. They get ready to use what utility they have on towards the box site. So they're pretty much trapped in the pit, and this is a good opportunity for Aequitas to get on their bike and make sure they can pick up frags. See Zekler, he's walking in from behind. That's nice work, and that's another angle that they can now work for. Palmer manages to find one, but there is a overspill of terrorists now making their way out of the pit. Really, really good work actually from Zek bringing that home. Slow delayed push out towards Boiler. Managed to catch Aequitas players wanting to get themselves in and get themselves the site control. In fact, they already had site control. That's the main thing with it. Just making sure they had the bodies there and ready to work. And no one really expecting the push from behind. A different way. Camlica weren't going anywhere fast, really stuck in the pit. So there could have been an Aequitas player hanging behind to deal with anyone on the, maybe delaying coming up from mid if they're looking towards Banana, or just trying to wrap him up from behind, delay out of Boiler Room. Maybe would have made a better use. And someone pushing out towards bomb site, trying to get library to arch, would have been an avenue where they could have taken them down. But I think maybe opportunity missed. If you're pinned in the pit like that, you've got a bit of utility, etc. Then you've just got to hold angles, really. Wait for the smokes to dissipate, draw them out into the open. First time really where we've seen the Aequitas CT defense get a little ragged. Like they're a little short on ideas, but really the idea needs to be go back to what worked at the start. Be passive, set up your crossfires, bring them into you. A little bit of an example was that last round actually stuck in the pit. They need to come out to you. And they were committing a fair amount of their utility to try and make that happen and just be able to get themselves into the pit in the first place. So maybe you could have bided your time a little bit and waited for them to make the move. Especially with Coolin, how well he's been getting frags as well. Lessons to be learned there, don't give him that opportunity. That's work from Soulfly. He's picked up 2. Make it 3. Zek chipping in as well. The AK is barreling through the upgraded pistols, and that's going to be another plant. And a 3-round lead for Camlica. Dominant stuff. Soulfly seems to keep quiet for the most parts, but when they have picked up frags, it's been a couple of hat-tricks, I think. That pan out. I think a couple of hat-tricks. That's up from Soulfly, actually making it 4 kills. That's a good push him to the top of the scoreboard, 8 and 7. If it's 4 there and 2 or 3 in another round, then that's exactly that. They just come in kind of 3rd or 4th in the push, clean up and grab guys while they're distracted. One way that I tended to get a number of frags when I was playing regularly. I guess you call it the lurk role. Just popping up a little late to the party. I think it was a big reset. Last time I played competitively in a team, it was just main AWPer, so if I had a rifle in hand, it was usually a retrieved rifle that I scavenged off of someone because I wasn't having the best day with the AWP. Or we're just on an eco that panned out quite well. In towards the B. Aequitas have their crossfire set up a little better, and J Pappy coming in from Ruins. Perfectly timed, I think, as they wait 40 seconds left to go. Soulfly trying to cause problems over towards the banana, and we see they get on their bike and make their way through. Zek hanging around in towards where yellow used to be. J Pappy does clean him up. Zalco, again, he's done some good work absorbing pressure over towards the A bomb site with the AWP, but bomb plant comes in. 3v3 Stitch as Camlica look to bring themselves a 4-round advantage and win half here on T side. I say it is one of the more balanced CT-sided maps. Edgy finds J Pappy, first one to swing. AWP now Zalco tries to get in from Little Pit. Bell with the AWP manages to find one there. Edgy gets another with the AK, and it is 8-4. Camlica starting to get themselves in the driving seat here. A little bit of controlled aggression. J Pappy and Palmer. One frag apiece in through the apartments. Up against the AK, and Zalco manages to find Deji as well. Zalco's finding themselves in some high pressure situations. Imagine to come away with it nonetheless though. Well, not working through. Should be able to yam down the bomb plant with a bit of cover. They do. Soulfly looking in that direction as well. Bell now switches back towards the CT angle. Nice work from Bell with a frag. Soulfly gets one as well. Information coming in. Soulfly trying to absorb the pressure. Does exactly that. Picks up another crispy 4K. That's well and truly pushed them up the frag charts. 12 and 8 now. They're not interested in single frags. They're like the Dennis Bergkamp of the Turkish Counter-Strike scenes. They don't want tap-ins, they want the screamers. Nothing but big-time plays. With that 9-4. Double figures well and truly a possibility as we see them now moving around with a lot more purpose. Possibly the most aggressive, really, we're seeing these guys. Now not afraid to poke and show. Soulfly just running, literally just running. Chance for a player on the bomb site. Nothing doing, doesn't need it. Got a teammate there to do the job. And now this is the one problem, and it's something that Aequitas haven't run into up until these last couple of rounds when things have really started to get rolling for Camlica. But when you play the passive CT setup, you do find yourselves in the situations when sometimes a team will just steamroll through you. They've got the AKs, they've got the one-shot headshot potential with that, and they will just pour in en masse. 4-5 of you against 2 to 3 players CT in the bomb site, even with everyone left alive. You've got the numerical advantage. There's one player goes down, there's a second guy there to refrag. Bonus, you can afford to lose a few on CT's side as Zek grabs Zentox after the bell, after the bomb explodes. 3 figures for Camlica on double figures. Oh no. 3 players for Camlica on double figures as we are staring down the barrel of the final round of the first half. 10-4 in favour of the Turkish side. Doing well now as Aequitas tries to mix things up with a little bit of control, crashing into second mid. It worked quite well for them a couple of rounds ago. Not so much this time as down goes 3. Make that 4. Soulfly again with the hat-trick. Bell grabs the last, and that is going to be 11-4. Ready for the second half, kicking off in just a few minutes' time. Okay, back underway then. Second half, Camlica 11-4 up against Aequitas main here. ESEA Season 36 EU Intermediate. And thank you very much for joining me for this one. The first Counter-Strike of the year of 2021. It's Camlica making a stand over towards the top of Banana. They managed to lose out in terms of control, really, as Aequitas now try and push in and do damage. Edgy under some heavy pressure as J Pappy manages to pick up the frag. Still no bomb plant yet. Swings out, tapping away. 1 bullet onto Zek. And that is not the play of a guy that's just gone down 11-4 on the easier side of a map. Nice work. Again, gets nailed by Kulin, who had a tidy little 1 bullet to take down his teammate, but keeps his composure, and that is going to be a round on the board for Aequitas. starting things off much like they did in the first half. First round on the board to them. After that, it was pretty much all downhill for them, though, unfortunately, and they will be looking to halt the slide as soon as they can. So it doesn't take much to get yourself back into this one. Win the next couple, 11-7. Win the bye versus bye, 11-8. Pushing back onto an eco, 11-9. You're just a couple of rounds away. And then you continue to apply the pressure. Make them feel the squeeze. Psychologically and economically. And the economy is something that we may end up talking about as we see that unfold. Nice work from Sen, able to find Edgy. That's over towards the B site, which is exactly where the play is going to come from. Zen may have an opportunity. Zentox, easy spray down, couple of frags out of that. That's going to stop any potential issues of the AK being dropped. Aequitas main picking up the first two. Having a look at the weaponry. Camlica do have a slight advantage in terms of firepower. So for Aequitas, this is kind of a bonus round, really, if they can grab this one. That would be very solid work from them. Full complement of utility. Not much on the Camlica side, so not a whole lot to try and slow down any pushes and allow rotates to come in. CTs will probably look to save if there is any pressure on one of the bomb sites. If they lose the site, basically, then we won't see any heavy pushes to try and get it back. They will just try and keep hold of the weapons that they can. Especially the AWP. AWP's going to be looking to get to safety as soon as possible. Just start to play the long game. AWP in the hands of Bell, and he is actually over towards Library side, so he's got routes to escape into Library, towards the bomb site, maybe towards the pit, as long as there isn't pressure coming in from balcony. Not going to be the case. We see Bell going to be making their way in towards CT side, expecting the push. Aequitas main have certainly lost the element of surprise with how long it took them to put in their set utility. And Soulfly again collecting frags in bunches, gets two towards the back of the site before traded out. Bell going in towards Garden, maybe thinking about going for this one now. If anything, just going to apply pressure, make sure that no one can push out from there and get control of CT while two teammates come in. All three Aequitas main players in towards the bomb site. Coolan finds one already. He was adept at entries. Now he's getting entries as they make their way in towards the bomb site. Bell probably going to be looking towards back oranges to make the frag, and down goes the AWP. Actually, Zek does the important job. He's going to retrieve himself a kit. It's going to be close, but I think he's got this. Oh, so close. So close. If he had the kit in hand, obviously that would have done the job, but realised he didn't have quite long enough. Aequitas main. That was close, but they do live to fight another day. They put another round on the board, and they're forced Camlica Esport into an upgraded pistol situation. Buy down to about $2,000. There's Deagles across the board. Should allow them a nice buy this time out. Flawless victory incoming, maybe. Palmer gets nailed down to 6 points of health, but keeps life and gun. It's going to be the best possible result. If nothing else, you can see on the Aequitas side, they've got plenty of cash to keep on buying. So it's not like dropping that 1 AK would have been a huge blow to them, but considering how the first half went, to be able to flawless a team, again, only on a deco, not a huge thing, but you will take what you can get as Bell manages to find Sen. And Zek trying to draw a bit of attention, 3 players in towards Banana. On the CT side, they go for the flower pot boost. A little earlier as Bell with the AWP. Manages to find Zentox over towards the other side. Over towards the other side. So the remaining 3 Aequitas players make their way in towards Banana. Need to drop back and retrieve the bomb. Where Bell was able to fell them over towards the steps area. Bomb is now retrieved. We'll see Zek, no doubt, get on his bike. Interesting to watch it just from his viewpoint for a second. That smoke is maybe going to throw him off a little bit. So we see now the utility flies in. The call over comms will be, it's A. And then Zek will be first through. Going to maybe try and spray through. The flower pot is checked early doors. That's Zek lighting up through the smoke, doing some damage, but not enough. And Soulfly now swings out from Oranges, gets to the frag, does more than enough. Still got 3 players there waiting to come in. Job done, getting the information, calling it in, and that allows the crossfire to come in. Nice work from Camlica as things starting to move in their direction. As we talked about, there is enough cash in the account for Aequitas main to buy again. No bomb plant, doesn't matter, but by the time they feel the real economy squeeze on them, it's going to be round about 13, 14 rounds to the good for Camlica. And when you are that close to victory, or when your opponents are that close to victory, it relies on you basically playing flawless Counter-Strike. That's where the real challenge comes from. Bell with the AWP again, takes down J Pappy. Showing a bit of aggression, moving in towards the boiler. Manages to get him at the second time of asking, absorbing the pressure, and that is the trouble. In the end, it worked out well. The sacrificial lamb popping out of boiler. Zek finds one though. Zek gets the second. Soulfly comes in, mops up the remaining. Chance to retrieve maybe the AWP and does exactly that. That's going to go back in the hands of Bell, who has been pretty deadly. And that's actually, I have Bell muted, so that's either going to be one of 2 things. Either I played with him or against him and he was super toxic, or I've casted him before and it's just a way of dealing with the in-game voice thing. It's more likely going to be option 2. I'm sure he won't have been super toxic in some random face it game or whatever. We will certainly give him the benefit of the doubt there. As he nails Palmer just through the wall there. Really strong stuff. Now, relatively low risk. Not expecting CT pushing through smoke like that. So you can spam off a little bit. Edgy managing to get the spray down. Coolin in doing the same thing from the other side. Edgy unfortunately had to fall away. The smoke and the Molotov made that a necessity. But Zek and Soulfly able to bring it home. And while we're here, just going to grab control of the camera and show you the situation. The difference between Camlica and Aequitas really in how they set up from mid. It was Zalco or Zentos, I can't remember, sitting around about where this camera was, out isolated in the open, allowed the mid player to come in, swing, and then rip his head off. Good shot, of course, but that was possible. The difference, Camlica had the guy here, plus the guy over towards quad side. They set up the crossfire. As soon as anyone steps through that mid area, there is going to be bullets raining in, setting up a kill shoot, and unless you're going to tuck in behind the wall, well, you have to step into it to try and make something happen. Otherwise, you know, you're pretty much trapped there, using all of your utility to try and flush yourselves out. Real tough ask. And talking about tough ask, Aequitas main, 2 players dropped early doors. Deegs in hand. Camlica Esports about to put the draw on the board and make it overtime, an absolute worst situation. 3v2. I made this mistake last season. I was thinking it's league format, draws are surely a thing. And in that time, the overtime config pops, and it looks like we're playing overtime after all. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm not going to call it as a draw until I see players disappear off the server. 15-8 though. Aequitas main, potentially their final bye of this contest. Another problem, bomb plant is useful. That if they do win this, they still have to make sure that they win this comprehensively and they keep enough guns in hand. It's going to be tough for them to go and rebuy. Soulfly again collecting frags in bunches. Chance for the ace to bring it home. Helped nicely by the double nade. That was useful. They will take it. Zentox is going to run, get the bomb plant down. If you want to be extra risky, you could have maybe wrapped all the way through to A and hoped that he didn't run into a player. Bell spamming through, finds Zentox. 16 rounds on the board, and that was some pretty strong stuff in the end. Aequitas looked pretty good first couple of rounds, but they got a little disjointed in their CT setup. They weren't really uniform in how they were approaching. A little bit of aggression here with passiveness there. That didn't work out too well. And then in the end, they found themselves getting overrun. Lost too many rounds on arguably the easier side, and then made it very difficult for them to get themselves back into it. But a good, exciting contest with some good individual fragging, in particular from Soulfly, who did some huge things. 3Ks, 4Ks in the round, and just allowed it to really get on a roll for the Turks, and they'll be very pleased to put their first win on the board. So, thank you very much for watching. This has been Crossy for my own Twitch channel, Crossy Casts. There will be games from me on this channel all throughout the week. I will be joined by a... I will be joined from Wednesday onwards, but for tonight and tomorrow, you are stuck with me flying solo. Keep it locked to my Twitter, which I will show you if it comes up here. Right there, so at mcrossy12 on my Twitter is the way to go. And then throw me a follow on Twitch as well, Crossy Casts, and it will be good to have you with me for other games as they come in. I did have a schedule set on my Twitter, but already the first game didn't really go to plan. That got rearranged, and that's just the way ESEA goes. Fixtures get changed at relatively last minute. It happens. It's not the end of the world, so we'll roll with the punches, and if the game that we're planning on isn't available, I will jump on and I'll grab something, and there will be games every day this week, aside from Friday. Be good to have you with me, and it's good to see 40, 50 odd people jumped on for this one. I guess we're all keen to see some Counter-Strike in 2021. Thank you very much, and I will catch you for the next one real soon.